What's up? This is Draco.
And this is Alicia.
And you're now tuned in to OD
Podcast.
Oh,
Period. See, it's a habit.
What?
Saying love. Anyways,
let me just say this. Welcome to OD Podcast. I got some shit to say.
What you got to say, Pooh?
Don't call me love.
I think it's a term of endearment.
It's a time. I thought when people say love, they're trying to read.
Like Monique.
Yeah.
Hey, my loves. I know somebody who do not, and this is before the movie. She felt like if you told her daughter was precious, then it was an insult.
Okay, that's too much.
I was like, I ain't never heard that one, but she is cute.
So let me just start off by saying that we are burnt out on topics at the moment. We don't know what the topic is for today.
There's just a lot going on. All I can say is vote.
Vote.
Don't be discouraged. And if you have the opportunity, just try to vote with the absentee ballot this upcoming election in November, in case they try to pull some stunts like they've been doing in Kentucky and Georgia.
Oh, I'm just looking at it now. Shout out to Lil Baby. I'm finna get me a 4PL chain from Walmart.
Oh my God. First of all, I tried to search it and it was gone. So I either took it down or it just, not showing the website.
Walmart be having some stuff on there though, for real. They be having I go on Walmart website and I don't think they actually sell it. It's almost like Amazon.
I was just about to say that. That's exactly what it is. Because the company I most previously worked for, I worked in their e-commerce, and I honestly, you could be somebody that stitches scarves and you can sell it on their website. And it's not like they don't really do any kind of like, oh, can we sell this? It's like, does this cause harm? Does this have any kind of violent, references? All right, this falls into a category that we have. Let's sell it. These folks don't know what 4PF is, and it's not their responsibility on whether it's your logo or not. Because for all they know, it's Lil Baby trying to sell it, and it's really
the fact that the Walmart Twitter page was tweeting Lil Baby lyrics.
No,
to it. That was the part.
It's so funny how popular 4PF is. Like, people be making fake 4PF IG accounts. It's kind of like when Rich Homie was having his little movement and everybody was Rich Homie this, Rich Homie that.
I can't believe Rich Homie fell off as hard as he did.
I don't know. He just did a song with somebody recently and it was a little hard. You think he fell off though?
I really do. I feel like he was, at one point, he was actually above Young Thug, like in his career.
Yeah, he was.
And I feel like Young Thug came and trampled over him.
I think because Young Thug really matured his sound. Like if you look at some of his old music, only people in the streets is really like getting into a sound like that. And then I feel like Rich Homie, even though he kind of street, he really had a lot of radio tracks.
He's open-minded. I feel like Young Thug is very open-minded. I always tell people that Young Thug is probably like one of my favorite rappers and one of my favorite people. And it's just because out of all the rappers that I've ever pretty much been around or been in the same vicinity of, or just in general, I think that Young Thug is very, very, very welcoming. Like, I see the way he treat his fans. It don't matter what race, what age, like sexual preference, nothing. He treat everybody the same. I did have a run-in with him, and his entourage was very mean to me, but he wasn't. He was very nice. I saw him at Deja Love's birthday party, and I was trying to take a picture with him, a selfie, because everybody knows Young Thug is my favorite rapper, and his entourage. Yeah, like his entourage. He was prepping for the selfie. His entourage was like, hell no, don't do that.
I wonder what that was about though, because he got his own mind or not to choose what he would.
Yeah, and then they ended up like pulling him away from me, and they left the party immediately. We were standing near the elevator. They all got on the elevator and they left.
You think they left because of you?
I mean, I do got that power, but
okay. No, I did have a couple of experiences with him, but you know what's so funny? And looking back, it really wasn't weird. I just was not used to somebody like him.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So I used to work in this retail store. He came in there one time with one of my friends. He was dating one of my friends at the time. I don't even know if I should say we friends, just to be totally fair. Me and her used to work together and we just were cool. But anyways, they were together and I didn't really know who Young Thug was, but you know how you can tell somebody famous? It was like that. And, he had his couple lean. He had, he just looked different. And to be in the store that I was working in, it was a little, abnormal to see somebody like him. I would see people like housewives and stuff like that. And he tried to buy something that we had for like display, but it wasn't a product, it was decor. And he was just like, I don't care how much you want for it. And to me, it was like, but now looking back, it wasn't even that deep. But I remember he came back the second time and he was like, oh yeah, blah blah blah. I was like, oh yeah, I didn't know that was your girlfriend. It was so awkward because I'm like, what I'm supposed to, like, in Atlanta we used to seeing celebrities, but I never really had no one-on-one like interactions with people, not like that. And because I was working with him, but it had just been like a really casual engagement, and he was cool. But when it was just weird. I feel like I always wanted that he think I was being weird. I was just shocked. And then I remember he had bought the shoes he bought was for it was a women's shoe, but he got it in a large size so he can fit it. But it really wasn't even that deep. It was just like some house shoes. But anyway, I just, in my mind, my young undeveloped mind at that time, I was feeling like I was being judgy, but he really was cool. He didn't do anything to make me uncomfortable.
Yeah. Definitely that.
Have you had any celebrities be like rude to you?
Jeffree Star.
Really? I didn't know you met him before.
I met Jeffree Star a few times actually. I don't know if anybody is familiar with my personal background, but I used to be obsessed with Jeffree Star like during my MySpace era, a little after. Yeah, it was really bad. But I just genuinely liked him just because he was different looking. Like I never seen nobody that looked like him. He was a man, but he just, like, he was covered in tattoos. He always wore like color hair and crazy makeup, and I just thought that was very interesting. And then like just some of his videos and stuff and conversations that he had at the time, I thought he was just a really cool person. And then so the first time I met him, he was nice, but I didn't really meet him. It was at a concert, and this is when he was a music artist. I went to one of his concerts, whatever, that was cool. The time that I actually met him, this lady who worked at the salon where I worked at the time, she was friends with his manager, and she was like, hey, Jeffree Star's coming to Atlanta this week. I want to introduce you guys because I know you really like him. I was like, okay, cool, let me know. So she never let me know about it in advance. She was just like, she hit me up. I was at a pool party and she was like, he coming today, so just pull up. I got you. Da-da-da. So I was like, okay, cool. So I got there. Keep in mind, I've seen Jeffree Star take pictures with people with no makeup on, with shades on, like, So I got there and she was about to introduce us, and he was walking out the salon as I was walking in. So I was like, oh, hey, like we just running into each other.
Yeah.
So he was like, hi, like that. Like he was like, hi. And then the girl that was with him, she just was looking at me like I was about to, like, I'm like a threat. So I'm not used to that, because I understand you do have to be really cautious when you're dealing with people because you just don't know their intentions. Mm-hmm. And so I asked him, I was like, do you mind if I get a picture with you? I'm a really big fan of yours. Da, 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 da. He was like, no, I'm not really doing pictures today. I don't like to take pictures with people when I don't have on no makeup. And I was like, okay. I was like, that's cool. And then he was like, well, the lady, her name was Glam. He was like, Glam told me that you work at Mac. I guess I can just come up there. I can just do my makeup and come up there because I do have to get some stuff, and I'll take a picture with you then. And so I was like, okay, that's cool. And I was just like, I wasn't mad, but I was like, whatever. He don't take no picture. This boy walked off from me, and he was like, bro, what the fuck? Like that. He was like,
really?
Yeah, he was like, bro, what the fuck? And then the girl was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure you be weirded the fuck out. Like, what the fuck was that
black?
About? She was she was black.
No, I'm just joking. His racism claims. That was nothing.
Yeah. So she was like, what the fuck? So ironically, I went to Linux and I didn't even have to work. I was up there, and guess who up there? So
this was the same day?
No, this was the same week though. Mm-hmm. So then, he had lied to me. So he was like, he was going to Flowery Branch. She was like, yeah, we got to get ready to go to Flowery Branch. Whole time he had went to the back of Salon Ramsey, and we had like a bonfire area. He was back there with all the tattoo artists and stuff, and they was back there like.
That's so odd. He was at Salon Ramsey of all places.
Yeah, right. Of all places. So I'm in the mall and I ran into him again. So when he saw me, he like I wasn't even gonna say nothing to him just because of our first encounter. I was just like,
just let him,
I don't even want to be. I don't want to be that person that feel like I'm like trying to stalk him or like I'm doing too much. So I didn't even say nothing. So we started walking in the same direction, and then he started acting like he was sick. Like we was walking, so it was by Panera Bread in the mall. So he saw me, and then he like thought real quick. He was like, "Oh my gosh!" He was like, "I really have to throw up. Oh my gosh!" He acted like he had to throw up, and he like ran past me to go to the bathroom. Like the most.
That is extreme.
Yeah.
Dang, it's like you did something to him personally.
And I didn't.
So how did he know that you were the one that worked at Mac if you had just walked up into
because the lady who she passed away like a few years ago of cancer, but the lady who was going to introduce us, she had told him about me. So she was already getting him familiar with, he, I really want to introduce you. So he does makeup, blah, blah, blah. She was going to introduce us to each other. And that's how he knew.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Well, that doesn't shock me, honestly, given his history now. But that's kind of awkward. And it's kind of tough, too, if it's somebody you really admire and, you get treated like that. There was a rapper that I used to really like that gave me some weird vibes one time at the club. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
We say names on this podcast. You can say the name, sis.
You're right. So, I used to love Bow Wow.
We already knew that anyway. That's why I wanted to say it, so everybody knew.
But you remember when I first got on Twitter, I had this whole campaign to get Bow Wow to tweet me and follow me back, and it worked. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
Yep, it actually worked, and he shouted me out of everything. And that's actually how I used to get all my followers because I used to get so much. I can't believe that I used to do that.
Shout people like, have celebrities shout you out?
No, just start my get Bow Wow's attention thing. It was so crazy now looking back, but whatever. So anyway, one time he had a birthday party at this club. I don't know what it's called now, but it's across the street from Cheetah. But he had a birthday party there.
Oh, okay. It's called Opium now.
Yeah, I think it was called Put Something, but it started with a P.
Yes. Hold on, wait. I'm sorry, I don't want to get off track, but I keep trying to remember what it used to be called, and you're right. It started with a P. It was called Primal.
Primal, yes. So he
That's
had a birthday
what it
party
was.
at Primal. Okay. And so me being so absent-minded, I had gotten to know one of his friends, I guess you could say. And this was not on no groupie junk. I honestly didn't even know that he knew him. We just met on Twitter. So I'm thinking okay, you know what I'm saying? I'm a link with him at the club. It's funny because I saw the friend at the club, but he actually knew the girl that I was with. It had nothing to do with me. But anyway, so, in my mind, Bow Wow don't shout me out, me thinking he don't got a good look at my profile picture. He know who I am. And so he finally gets to so first of all, it's like 3:00 at this point, 3:00 in the morning. And I'm tweeting him where you at? I mean, I was doing the most. It's so embarrassing now looking back, but I was just where you at? Thinking because, he follows me. So I know he get my tweet notifications because how they get notifications for people that they only follow. And so he never replied. But then one time, shortly after he tweeted on my way to Primal, I pull up when I'm ready type thing. So anyway, but he wasn't talking to me. He was just speaking in general. But I was like, dang, did I harass him? I don't know. But anyway, so he pull up. He's in his section, and I'm really close to the section because at Primal, some clubs anyway, they have that risen section where they kind of look out.
Yeah.
So it was like that, and I put my hand up and I waved, and he waved back, but he made a face you know how you wave at somebody who annoys you? I'm like, dang, I done burnt my bridge.
That's how I felt. That's exactly how I felt.
I was doing the most. I really was, but I just was not, now looking back, I'm way more mature and it's not that deep now. But yeah, I did the most for somebody that was just a human being. And
I did the most for a racist, so
and the way he acted, I did take it personally, but I'll never forget. I accidentally blocked him on Twitter. Accidentally, because my computer at the time, if you tap the trackpad, it takes it as a click instead of just you tapping the trackpad. So I accidentally blocked him, and obviously, when you block somebody, you don't follow them, and they don't follow you. And so the friend of his that I had knew, I DM'd him. I'm like, please show him this so he can refollow me. It was a joke. Oh God, it's embarrassing. But so yeah, that was my encounter with Bow Wow. I met him a couple of times, but that one time was like, I think I stopped liking him after that.
Oh my God.
It's like I snapped out of it. I was like, all right, he's just a human being. You need to chill out.
Yeah, I haven't had any like bad experiences with actual celebrities though. Like I don't think that I think I know I don't know. Because I even try to think like people always ask me if I had any bad experiences with clients, and I would never say their name.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I would never say their name or nothing, but I can't even remember like instances when I had like clients that were high profile or celebrities and they were mean to me.
Have you had any that didn't want to pay you?
Of course. I've had but I'll sack that at the door now. Like I know how to do it. I have had clients that did their makeup and then they felt like they should just shout me out, or I've had clients who have taken weeks to pay me, or situation like that. But now I know how to deal with it. Marcellus is out the building. If y'all don't know who Marcellus is,
I forgot about Marcellus. You don't need him
my
no more.
Marcellus is my old assistant.
That name.
Yeah. So he is no longer working for me. I work for myself.
Period.
And he doesn't. Yeah.
Did Marcellus help you fire him?
Huh?
Did Marcellus help you fire him?
Fire himself?
Yeah.
He actually was not fired. He just moved on.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, like it's no bad blood.
I'm crying.
But yeah, I handle everything myself. Like I let them know, because I think that they take it a little bit more serious. Like I let people know what I'm okay with, what I'm not okay with, and how this is gonna go.
Ooh,
you know what I'm saying? Like it is what it is. Like I can't. I'll tell you what I can and cannot do. It is what it is. But and it's been working very well for me. Very, very, very well. So,
do you remember when we met Jim Jones at Lennox with Zabria?
He was kind of mean a little bit, but it was because we were doing the most.
Yeah, we were. Now I'm thinking about any bad perception I might have of meeting somebody because we was doing the most. We was like 17, but he had a flight, he claims, and I was in my mind, I'm like, okay, go catch your flight, but can we take a picture?
Right? Yeah, we was doing the most, so that's probably. And I
it's
think
so funny to be
in upside down or something.
I remember that. I remember everything about that. You know what's also funny? It's not only was a picture upside down, but I remember when I had it in my phone, I had cropped it to zoom in. I ended up cropping it to be too tiny, and I could never get that old resolution back. So if I open the picture up now, it's like a little blurry thumbnail. I don't care now, honey. It's so funny though, because those pictures were like premium quality back then, but obviously like as technology advances. But I remember when I guess when we gotta go down and list of people we don't met, but I remember one time I used to go to the same gym as Apollo from Real Housewives.
Oh my God.
I feel like he was training at that gym because I think he was a trainer on the show, but I don't know. It's funny because I only saw him there a couple of times. I don't know. And I used to go to that gym 24/7. But anyway, Phaedra was getting like a tour of the gym, and I had on this bonnet, and I just got through working out. And I was like, "Hey, Phaedra." She probably like, "Y'all let hood rats work out here." I never saw neither of them there again.
Oh my God. Yeah, I don't know. I ain't really had no. People be telling me about like stuff that people that they meet and they've been rude, but it always boils down to just how they were acting. Like I think that
yes, I agree.
What people need to realize is that these are human beings, and of course you're going to be excited to see somebody that you love or that you see all the time on TV or music videos or whatever.
It's kind of like shocking. It's like, oh my God,
it's like wow. Like what are the odds that we're in the same room at the same time? You know, and I get it, but I think that this day and age, especially with the climate of the quote unquote celebrity, is very different. Like I think that people before, we grew up with celebrities that had a lot of media training, and that's gone out the window because we promote more so of just being yourself. And these people became famous kind of overnight, so they're still human beings at the end of the day. So it's like you got to kind of treat them how you would treat anybody else on the street. And if you don't, like if you doing too much, they gonna respond to what. Like I'm sure if you meet Cardi B, you gonna I even was this is why I always say I had to get my own perception, because I remember I watched that video of the girl who did Cardi B's makeup, and
Oh, I
how she
saw that
said that
too.
Cardi B was just so mean and how she treated her. I did Cardi B's makeup before, and it was the whole different thing.
And was she in labor when you did her makeup?
She had her baby the same day that I did, the same night, probably like a few hours after I did her makeup, she had her baby.
Yeah.
So she was the sweetest thing. Like we was talking about some crazy shit. Like she was eating like chili cheese fries from Wendy's at 3 a.m. because I did her makeup at like 2, 3 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And she was eating some chili cheese fries from Wendy's, and I mean the sweetest person. She was so nice.
I believe it.
And when it came down to pay me, she just gave me her phone. She gave me her phone and her Cash App, and she said, "Pay yourself." She didn't even ask me how much to charge, but in my head, I'm like, I ain't gonna try her.
$15,000.
I was like, I ain't gonna try her like
What's
that.
the Cash App max? Yeah, you don't want to burn your bridge.
Yeah, nah, I ain't want to
You're
do
right
it.
though.
It's all about your encounter with that person and how you treat people. I always say that. So I try not to have like a perception of I have done it and I feel bad. So I just erase any bad thought that I've heard about somebody, and I just have to make my own judgment.
Exactly. And that's exactly what I had to do about Young Thug and Bow Wow and so many other people I have just approached out of just, genuine excitement, but also forgetting like, this is a human being. But you're right though. I think that these people obviously know that they had live a life on a public platform, so that everywhere they go, somebody's gonna recognize them. So I think they kind of have accepted that. But my best engagements with celebrities have been just straight up, let me tell you something, regular, like just be, what I'm saying, not me trying, like, okay. Like, it's one thing to be like going to that person as an opportunist, and it's another thing to just genuinely greet them, and it's not that deep. Yeah. Like, what I'm saying? So like some people I've met before, and it's just been like super chill, like, oh, what's up, Brian Michael Cox, how you doing today? Or one time I met Big Crit, super chill. It was just so chill, and he have a chill demeanor anyway. But I just remember talking to him, and I'm just like, man, this dude is so cool. But if somebody was like, oh my God, Big Crit, I'm your #1 fan. Please, I just want to. Do you need an engineer? No. It's just like, bruh, chill out. And why would I want you to work for me? I'm scared that you're gonna try to steal out my pocket and take my.
I had like I want to say I had a few moments where I like fanned out of my clients. I remember one time, the first time I ever did LaToya Luckett makeup, I was like, bro, like I'm really working with somebody from Destiny's Child, and you already know. Like I used to be
I get it though.
So I was like, I ain't gonna tell her. And then like the third time I did her makeup, I had to just let it out. I was like, so listen. This is what it was. I'm like, I had y'all posters, pictures everywhere in my locker, my folder.
You really did. Jesus Christ.
I had shoe boxes full of pictures. That's what I'm saying. I had like shoe boxes full of pictures. I had, literally everything. And I was just, telling her like anything, any song that she was on, any group that she was in, Angel, I knew it.
Yeah. See, I think that's cool. At least you waited some time to get a little acclimated, so she was familiar with you. Because I feel like the way people receive stuff is different too. It's like a dude that hollers you on the street talking about A-Red A versus y'all just having a chance encounter, and he tell a funny joke, and next thing you know, your number in his phone.
Girl, one time, recently, this past weekend, I did I did makeup for 2 music videos. Mm-hmm. So the hired security guard, I like on video sets, I always watch the playback screen just to make sure the makeup is cool, like the lash ain't coming off, the makeup don't look ashy, the lighting is good. Like I've just gotten comfortable with telling the cameraman to stop because I feel like I need to fix something. So I'll be paying attention. So anywho, the security guard is standing there by me. He was like smiling at me. So the whole time I'm thinking, I'm like, this fucking creep. Like, I don't know if he's flirting with me or what's going on, but he's kind of weirding me out. So he finally opened his mouth and said something to me. So guess what this man asked me? He's asking, so how much you think this girl charged for a feature? So I said, I don't know. I said, I literally had on a shirt that said makeup pays my bills. What the fuck what would make you think that I know how much this girl charged for a feature?
Because that's what people talk about when they know them.
Yeah, like I'm like, oh, girl, how much you charge for a feature? Oh my god. So
200 a occasion.
so I'm like, I said, I don't know. And I like pointed at my shirt and he was like, oh, okay. He was like, you think you could find out for me? And
Why don't you just ask?
why? I said, well, you got to talk to her manager or somebody about that because I don't, that's not my field. Like her makeup artist. I don't do, I'm not doing that. So then
Yeah, and it's kind of like weird when you start soliciting them kind of requests to your client. It's like,
you're
okay,
supposed to be here to work, do her security, or video. Should we shooting a video in the projects? You need to be standing out here making sure that we good because people was walking up like,
oh my god,
we shot a video. We shot a video in somebody's real house, a real trap house. So people was walking up and they was like trying to check us like, oh, did they give y'all permission to do this? This so-and-so house.
Oh, I don't heard about this happen before.
And I'm like, what? So they was like popping firecrackers outside the house. They crowding around the house. They getting mad because a lot of us wasn't answering questions. Like it was old ass men bullying us. Like, like granddad.
Geez, baby.
They was like, I'm saying you just standing there looking at me. You ain't saying nothing. We asking you questions. You in our hood. This our hood.
Where y'all was at?
Girl, we was in Anderson Park.
Oh, okay. I was just out there yesterday.
Anderson Park?
No, not yesterday. Saturday, yeah. When I went to that parking lot concert.
Girl, it was some tea. I was like, first of all, I thought it was abandoned when we got there. I'm like, I don't know nobody live over here.
Yeah.
12 o'clock came around. They came outside. I said, how do y'all live in here?
I done heard a couple times about some video shoots getting shut down because somebody didn't get permission from, one of the
But I mean, they definitely got permission. The man, of course, got paid for us to use his house, but girl, anywho, that wasn't the point of the story. I threw that in there. But the guy ended up sliding me his car and asking me to give it to the manager. And I looked at the car. This man do security. He a rapper, make beats.
Sound like Atlanta. I saw this tweet yesterday. This girl said, "I hate Atlanta. This man just told me he was a scientist on the side, and I believe him."
I saw that too. I saw that. They is insane. Like, what the hell kind of scientists?
No, you do be finding folks to do. I remember one of my jobs to clean up people. This guy told me he renovate houses, he mount TVs, and I'm like, I can't even knock the hustle, but it's just kind of hard for me to take you serious because what's your passion? Which one of these is you good at?
The guy that be on Instagram and Twitter who be hanging out the wall as he mount the TV up, I really want him to come do mine when I'm
First of all, he ain't doing nothing. Anybody can do that, but I do think it's unique for him to be making them videos. It's gathering a lot of attention.
Yeah.
Not everybody can hang from the mountain though, because it do got a weight limit. But
I can't do it. So
man, mountain TVs is so easy. I did not know that.
It's the high and the cord for me.
That's a whole different kind of party. Now I don't know about how. Now I do know how to do it, but I'm a little scared to do stuff like that. But just know I didn't pay nobody to mount my TV, and 2 of them mounted, and I ain't do it.
Oh my god!
But it was easy.
So I got something to ask you. See how you feel about this. So of course, the situation about Uncle Ben and Aunt Jemima has been coming up. Do you feel like people are doing too much, or do you feel like they need to take these people off here because it's representing slavery or misrepresenting slavery or whatever?
You know what? It's complicated. I do feel like it's complicated because
so
I absolutely there are people who are taking down statues of Confederate soldiers or leaders or Klan supporters and things like that. And I think that's fair because why are you supporting someone who, supported genocide and thievery and colonization and things of that nature? The Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben, I don't really know the background story of how they end up becoming the face of the product. If the families of those people are receiving some kind of financial gain from it, I don't really see the need to take it off the product.
Yeah, I think more so for me. Like, I don't know the background story of why they own that either, but I also know that that's just a part of Southern history, and they may not even be from the South, but just a lot of our traditions in the South, a lot of the food that we cook, a lot of the songs that we sing, a lot of our like dialect, everything just really reverts back to slavery and our ancestors. And even though that was a horrible time, like that was a very bad time, I do feel like some of that stuff is just a part of our history as Black people, because a lot of the skills and a lot of things that we do as far as like the way that we clean our food, the way that we cook our food, the way that we prepare our food, and the way that we congregate as far as like our family, like the traditions that our family has, it reverts back to those times. And I do feel like that's just a part of our culture that I don't feel like is a bad thing. And also, I feel like shit. I grew up eating Aunt Jemima and my grandma, and you know what I'm saying. Like that, I feel like they weren't offended by it. And I also read something today that the relatives of Aunt Jemima don't want to take her off of there because they feel like people are trying to erase her legacy.
Yeah. See, that's why I say it's complicated, because you know what? Even though it is a part of history, that doesn't necessarily make it okay. Because people could say Robert E. Lee is a part of history. That's why he got a statue. But you're right,
Yeah,
though. I just think that if what that company can do to make it right is, you know, be more pro-Black. Y'all corporate office probably got this Black woman's face all over the place and probably not a Black person in sight.
yeah,
You know, honor the legacy that Aunt Jemima had or Uncle Ben had and highlight their stories and do more in the community to make sure that you can keep her legacy alive. Because at the end of the day, it could be quote unquote just a logo, but if the history of her becoming the face of that brand is rooted in negativity, they need to make it right. But I don't think that in those situations, taking her off is
gonna
the
fix it.
yeah. And I don't think that's, I
Yeah.
don't know if that's what I like it. I have eaten the product and I have, you know, never even known about what was really going on. I just saw a black face. And then mind you, the Black person being the boss didn't have anything to do with me buying it. It just tastes good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think it just needs to be more work done. I just think that taking it down, just I don't know. I don't.
So what about Miss Butterworth? I wonder if they're gonna bring her up, because child,
You know
what's
what?
tea with
There
that?
was actually a butter company that had a quote unquote Indian, aka Native
Oh
American, on
yeah,
their
yeah, yeah,
packaging.
yeah. Is it something Land O'Lakes?
Land O'Lakes, yeah.
Yeah,
So, you know, and this, I hope this isn't like hypocritical, but I can kind of understand that, because they were saying that not only are they using a Native American person as an image, but that Native American has European features, which does not directly reflect the culture of Native Americans. So they just
yeah,
felt like, you know, y'all haven't done anything for our community. You have created this image of a fictional character, put on your products, and have used it, you know, to brand.
yeah,
I think that, you know, if this is not a real person, I can understand it. And they've had that logo for over 100 years, but because Aunt Jemima's a real person, I don't know. I think that's what kind of makes it a little like I need them people. I need their family to be reaping the benefits forever if y'all
yeah.
selling that product.
I really feel bad that I don't know much more about Native American culture than I should.
Well, to be honest, they wiped it out in our books, and they kind of ended at the Trail of Tears. So you know, once they forced them out west, they will, well, Native Americans. That's how they look at it, which is not, which
Yeah,
is sad, because they're the reason that we even
that
have
is a lot
those.
of. It's a lot of Native Americans out there too. Like I love, but I actually really am interested in it because I see a lot of like especially evolving around like crystals and sage and stuff like that. It's always rooted back to either Native American culture or um sometimes African culture, anything like that. And I always get um inspired by that. I remember one time, what made me look into it though is because one time on Halloween, I got a last minute costume, went to Party City, and I went and I dressed up as a Native American. And when I tell you, I got back to work the next day and I was getting slapped in the face with history books.
I
It was
mean, it's,
like,
you know, unfortunately, our education system isn't set up to talk about that kind of stuff, because, you know, they don't really, you know, even though Native Americans may have gotten some form of reparations, which I'm not even sure of, I don't think it's fair how they're being treated. You know, I might be
yeah,
wrong, but the Navajo Nation is being hit the hardest out of all the Native American tribes because of COVID-19. And you
mm,
know they don't really get the same treatment or resources that some other, you know, well, white people get, when literally this is a Native Americans land, this is their land, and the stuff that they went through, the way they were literally, whew, it'll make me emotional. It's really sad. You know, you should probably try to check out some documentaries, maybe even on YouTube on it, but it's really unfair how they're treated and how their history or existence is being wiped out, and there
Yeah.
shouldn't be a reason why they are only out west majority like in Arizona and Utah and stuff like that when this is
Yeah.
their land.
Oh, child.
And I know it's really sad, but it's something that made me. I just been thinking, like I have been looking at Canadian news and UK news, stuff like that, and it's just so crazy how these issues that we're dealing with are being mirrored in every country. And people think, oh, they got it good over there, or we got it good over here. But I think it's easy to say that when we are not over there. So I've seen some crazy stuff, man.
I was reading this article just now about Bubba Wallace. I ain't know what was going on.
Oh yeah, apparently that noose was see.
Fake. Saying he wasn't a victim of hate crime. I wouldn't be surprised though, because let me tell you something. NASCAR race driving is one of the most white sports, and it's like the most like country is white people. So it smells like racism over there. I remember. I remember. That was one of the reasons that my mama never got me one of them NASCAR coats.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, they were popular in the hood too. Now that I think about it.
Listen, them NASCAR coats, and she was just like, they don't really support us. Like those people that go to because she had a lot of coworkers that were just like really racist, but they would love like anything that they would overly love. She did not support it.
Yeah,
I remember people,
she's like, I don't know what it is, but something about this ain't right.
yeah, like I remember certain army fatigue I couldn't wear like the like when people was wearing army fatigue, and then some people would wear the
leaves.
Yeah, the count the
Duck Dynasty swag.
Nah. She won't with none of that stuff. I remember one of my cousins, one of my aunts, her kids, she's white. One of my aunts, her kids, they used to love fucking NASCAR driving and go karts and stuff. I remember I only hung out with them one time. I ain't never tell my mom, but they said nigga around me before.
I remember you said
and I would have told my mom would have had them synced about. So I kept it to myself. Like I never told her that. She would have cut.
As a kid, once you start learning your parents' behavior, you be like, I never told my mom about me getting robbed at H.E. Holmes at night. I'm like, she'll probably make me quit my job and never go to work again.
Yeah, I don't think I ever told anybody for real. I don't think I told my sister that. Nobody. Yeah, that night was just
traumatized. It has scarred. It literally, I'm dealing with it today, and I don't even want to talk about it no more.
Yeah, sorry.
No, what you mean? I brought it up.
I know, but it's just
yeah. But you know what? It's so interesting how people, how a lot of these people who are combating the Black Lives Matters protesters and these movements, and they're coming with the Confederate flag, but then they want to claim that the Confederate flag is not rooted in racism. So why y'all ain't leave the flag at home?
Yeah.
What are y'all using? And even this news thing, I don't believe it. I do not believe it. I'm pretty sure that's something they used to clean it up, because whoever put it there was right along with the rest of the drivers walking Bubba's car on that track.
Yeah.
Yesterday before the showcase. Don't play with me.
I started to watch Love Thy Neighbor on Hulu.
I heard that was good. Let me write it down.
Yeah, it's so basically it's a show about a guy. He just visits these cities that are rooted in some type of hate. Mm-hmm. So whether it's KKK, Black Power, like stuff like that. People that hate Jews. He always visits like these areas where people are like hella racist, and he just
wait. This is like a documentary?
No, it's a TV show. It's like different episodes. Scripted. No.
Okay.
So like the first episode, I had to cut it off. I couldn't even finish the whole episode. I cut it off in the first 10 minutes. Oh, God. So the first episode, I don't want to tell it, but I'm gonna tell it. So basically,
give us some cliff notes.
Yeah, I'm gonna give a cliff notes. I don't know the city that he visited. He visited a family that grew up, of course, celebrating the Confederate flag. Their whole house was covered in flags, their cars, and they had like a whole bunch of different type of fucking like racist monuments and stuff in their house. Like they that was their life. And then even like they had a sign in their yard because they had flags everywhere. They had a sign in their yard that said "Watch your back," as if like if you try to come in their yard. Yeah, it was crazy. So what made me cut it off is because they were trying to say that of course they, for some reason, well, I ain't gonna say some reason, but every time people talk about racism or just segregation, anything like that, they always bring up Martin Luther King as if that's where it started and
Oh
ended.
my God. Yes, and that's
So
the problem. That is the problem.
yeah, that's not where it started and that's not where it ended. So of course that was brought up. This man opened his mouth and said that DMX was a better black person than Martin Luther King, a better reverend, because he was real. And Martin Luther King was a communist and something else. He called him something else. He said, so I actually respect DMX instead of Martin
First,
Luther
is
King.
DMX a reverend?
I want to say he was a reverend at one point, or he was or something. He said he loved DMX. And then the man who was hosting the show, he was looking like he's also a comedian. The guy who hosts the show is a comedian. So during the show, it'll revert back to him being at his stand-up comedy show, and he's talking about his experiences that he's having at this thing. So he was just like, yeah, the man was telling me about DMX, and he started looking at me as if I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, like trying to relate to me. Like he was like, yeah, we love DMX over here. Woo, woo, woo.
That's so weird, man. You know what I've
I cut
realized?
it off. I couldn't do it.
Stuff like that. I don't even watch these videos about these quote unquote encounters with Karens. I do not
Me
like
either.
looking at them. I can't. I don't want to hear them drop the N word. I don't even want to see them spazzing. I'm like, nope. I still haven't watched the video of
George Floyd. I
I
haven't
have
watched that
not.
either.
I think the last thing I saw was Ahmaud Arbery, and after that, I was like, I'm never watching anything like this if I can help it again in my life.
Yeah, I don't watch any of those videos. I just, listen to what people say about it. I cannot watch it.
Yeah, me
That
either.
shit is traumatizing as fuck.
It's very traumatizing. It's just, oh my God. But something I was gonna say, it's interesting, like when you go to these people in these Confederate households, or this is what I'm trying to say. People can look at the exact same thing and get their own interpretation. And I think I've been realizing this lately. Like when I look at these black Republicans or these black Trump supporters, like I honest to God do not feel like race should be identified by political party. I have always said that I do respect people's opinion on or preference on politics or what party they choose or who they vote. You got the right to vote for who you want to vote for. But I always do find it tough to understand why a black person would be a Republican or vote for someone like Trump, given like recent history. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But anyway, I watched Angela Stanton on The Breakfast Club, and she was getting a little drug, just a little drug. But anyway, I do feel like some of the things she said actually did make sense. And I'm like, wait, is this how she got converted? Did somebody come to her and just, because I feel like, no, I don't agree with her. I'm not a fan of her. She actually was running for a seat in Georgia. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is I feel like the stuff that we see and the stuff that she see is the same thing, but she has been convinced of one perspective while we've been convinced of the other. And I think that is just so interesting. Like a lot of these people that are racist, they see somebody like Martin Luther King as, like you said, a communist and all these negative things, and we look at him as like a leader to to give us the civil rights that we deserve. But there are people who look at things like protesters or people that are organizers. They look at them as people that create division, further division as it exists. And it's like, how are we looking at the same thing and getting two different opinions? Like obviously it's rooted in their mental capacity and what they've been taught, but it's just so interesting. So stuff like that is just like, you can't even convince them. It's like no matter what you tell them, they're gonna think that we're wrong, and we're gonna think that they're wrong. It's like
for sure, every time.
It's like people who are religious. It's like I practice this religion versus this religion, and essentially they all have the same story. There's a savior, there's life after death, or things of that nature. But it's just interesting though how we could just look at stuff and just be looking at two different.
I always have to explain it, and it's so weird that I have to explain it to people. I have to explain it to people that are like older when it comes to religion, because I always try to explain to people, I'm like, let me tell you something. I said, I don't even know how to explain my religion or what, because at this point I don't identify in particular with the religion.
Mm-hmm.
I do consider myself a spiritual person because I do believe in God. I do believe in the higher power. I do believe in meditation and prayer. I believe in a lot of stuff. But I just don't really care for a lot of the beliefs that Christians have. And I'm like, you know what? I feel like Christianity is something that has been altered over the years. And I don't necessarily think that it's a bad thing. But I think that what happens is that people who practice Christianity, they don't practice it the right way. And they don't practice it by the book. And they always just pick out certain parts that, you know what I'm saying? Like that they use and try.
Yeah.
And I don't like the fact that they use that against people when it's something that's supposed to be um about love. Like you're supposed to, like you're celebrating or practicing a religion that is based upon accepting everybody for who they are, and just loving everybody. And they're the most judgmental people I've ever met in my life. I'm sorry.
Yes, was I think part of it is because they have a reference, a hard reference that they can use to be like,
Yeah.
right here.
And I don't really like that. And I always try to explain to people, I'm like, it's nothing wrong with, your religion. And I don't even say that it's bad. I just think that you need to look at it from other people's perspective. Like even
But
like,
can they? Because it's just like politics. It's like,
yeah, I don't know. But I'm like, some of the stuff y'all doing is pretty much the same thing. Like you don't like people that practice Buddhism because they meditate instead of pray. You don't like people that are Buddhists because they use Palo Santo and sage. I'm like, literally stuff that grows from the earth. Palo Santo is a tree and sage is a herb, and they're just burning it for the same reasons that you would break uh
break bread, drink wine,
break
and
bread and drink wine. I'm like, that represents blood and the body of Jesus. Like you're doing pretty much the same thing. And it's in the same category, the same type of practice. And then like, especially people who are like Kojic, and
mm-hmm.
in a lot of Kojic churches, they speak in tongues and the Holy Ghost is like a thing. I'm like, what, like, how is that any different from you? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Even,
I know what you mean. And I think the bigger it, and I don't know, I can't speak for other Christians. I do identify as a Christian, but I'm going to be totally honest with you. When I have researched other religions, because I've studied them, in school and personal life, even if something seems to make more sense or have a little bit more clarity, I still have a fear of like,
yeah.
I can't
And that's
believe
because
that.
that's been embedded in
Mhm.
our head. Like, this is what your family has come up as. This is what we celebrate.
All I know,
I
and
mean,
that's is wrong. Yeah.
exactly.
But what I was gonna say, I think when I was growing up, I was never really taught like, oh, like the reference you made, absolutely the things that I was told, that's demonic, or that's. But when you think about,
Yeah.
people could say that speaking in tongues, demonic, praying is meditation. Like you said, communion can be considered the same way, and and the same could be said about witches. They do spiritual
Yeah.
connections, and I just think that it's all about what you allow yourself to understand. And at the end of the day, to be totally honest, religion is made up. All of it
Yeah.
is.
It
You know what I
really is.
mean? Like the I can't even talk straight, but a Muslim, or is it Islam was practiced much longer than Christianity. And I always wonder if there was always one story of like the creation of the universe and what we should expect after death, and people just kind of took that, and that's how religions were created. Like I read this and this is what I got out of it, so I'm gonna call it Christianity, and we're gonna go this way. And then you know what I'm saying? Because when you think about it, a lot of them have the same stories. Now, some religions do worship the sun or the bird or the tree, but they all have a savior in the same sort, that one day we are going to have to own up to the life we've lived, and we're gonna find a home to spend the rest of our lives. But it's complicated. And I used to be scared to say stuff like that growing up, because it was like, don't question God, don't question this. But
Me.
there are Christians that don't think that way and don't practice that way. But I think a lot of them are people like who have like kind of this era of religion. If you think of like
Yeah.
our grandparents' age, it's like strict by the book, because religion was something that was used to keep us in shape or
Mm-hmm.
keep us well behaved, and then we use that on each other. But none of us will ever know which one is right. So my thing is, going based off my religious belief, am I going to be punished if I chose the wrong religion? How do I know? And if you
Yeah.
think about people who are missionaries and they travel the world to like spread the name of Jesus and religion, I'm thinking like, are they forcing people to convert from what there's like, can that be looked at as violent? It's just all about perspective, I think. But
Yeah. I do agree too, because I even tell people, because I think that people try to use like witchcraft as like devil worship as well too, and I'm like, well, if you would actually read on witchcraft, it's not all evil. It's certain parts of it that could be used as evil, just like as far as any religion is evil parts to certain things.
yeah.
But I feel like
So it's based on what you use it for.
exactly, and I'm like, witchcraft isn't all evil. It's something that we don't understand, and we watch a lot of movies and read a lot of books as for because I remember at one point parents were not fucking with Harry Potter. They was like,
Oh,
baby, you ain't
listen,
reading
I,
that.
I wasn't allowed to read it, even though I read it anyway. But I never had a good reason as to why not. Because the person that told me not to read it didn't read. They didn't even know. They just somebody told them about
That's how
witchcraft.
it
But
normally
we
is.
watching murder movies. We watching movies with raping. And we watching movies with profanity, drugs. You know what I'm saying? So why do you draw the line in a fictional book?
Yep.
Yeah, I felt the same way. I mean, I've even been told that, oh, you shouldn't go to Disney World because those fake characters are not of God. What is? I probably shouldn't be using light bulb because I'm forcing natural sunlight into my room. But I think that sometimes people get so caught up into what they feel, because I do think that religion has saved people. Absolutely. I know, speaking for my mother, the life we were living before I was little, but the life we were living before she went to the church was not quote unquote of God, and it was negative. A lot of things were not going right. And once we started going to church, things turned around for us. Now we could
Yeah.
chalk that up to, we could say she could have just done that by just doing the right thing in certain areas or just changing her environment. We don't know, but we do know that meditation brings peace of mind. Prayer brings peace of mind. You know what I mean? So it's just all about like how you seek to find peace and the things you do to, like, I guess, guide your own life. But
Yeah.
what's interesting, I want to get back on what you talked about people like picking parts of the Bible that relate to them. I remember when I first stopped eating pork, it was because I read it in the Bible. And I remember reading, and I don't know if it even still applied because I think it was in the Old Testament. But I remember somebody asking me, or multiple people have asked me, it was like, why you didn't eat pork? And I was like, it's a sin. Well, you have sex. I'm just thinking like, so what that supposed to mean? Don't supposed to just do all of it because I ain't doing one of it? Like, I don't think it's up to you to determine like the quality of my life. And it's just really none of your business what I do. You've never seen me have sex, or do I? You know what I'm saying? But people really do use that as their way to like manipulate your life, when the Bible actually preaches like not being judged or not judging others. And you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But people don't want to. They think that they're helping you, and really, you need to get off my stoop and go pay that light bill because you smoked up the light bill money last month.
Yeah. Listen, the most religious people in my family and just around my family, the people who was trying to force religion on me, they were drug addicts. They had kids out of wedlock. They was doing all type of stuff that I wasn't even doing. Like to this day, I don't do drugs. I haven't done drugs.
Yeah.
I only smoke weed, and that was short lived. But like I don't do stuff like that, and I'm proud to say that I haven't done those type of things. But that doesn't make me better than anybody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That doesn't make me
Yeah.
better. I wouldn't just say that just to try to make somebody else feel bad. And I think that what I had to realize too, when I got older, is just that I have to learn to think for myself and think on my own. And I have to really purge a lot of the stuff that I was taught growing up and just throw it in the trash can and just figure out life on my own, because
Yeah.
I'm restricting myself. I'm restricting myself from learning. Getting to know people just because I'm prejudging them based off of what they do. I mean, all the way down to people who did sex work and drugs and
Yeah,
all
I'm
this stuff.
so much more of a free. I hate to use the term free thinker, Kanye. But I really am way more open minded. Like, I accept anybody and everybody. I don't give a darn what you do,
It
what
is what
you
it is. And
wear,
even though I
and
may not agree with it, it's not my business.
right. It might not be my first choice of action, but I'm like, that ain't none of my business. Do what you want to do, because I don't know if I'm right either. And I consider myself somebody who lives a pretty positive and good life, but I probably should be turning up because we might all end up in the same place anyway.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I
I don't
always
know.
think about that too.
But no, what I will say is I do, even though I do feel like religion itself is man-made, I think it was, like I said, inspired off a real story. I always wonder, like, I do believe in God. I'm like, there's no way that a man could have created this, that we are around. And I always wonder, like, is that more so spirituality? Like, what exactly is that associated with? Because we could, like, when I go to the beach, I'm always like, oh my God, like, this is a beautiful creation. Like, there is a God. There is a creator.
Yeah.
There is a creator.
Yeah.
I know Lil Ray for some hill they make this.
Oh my God, girl.
But I think that I always wonder, like, people that are kind of like free with the earth, and people that like go through like grounding rituals and tree hugging. I always wonder, like, are they the ones who are doing what they're supposed to be doing? Like, how do I know? I don't know.
Yeah, I think that for me, looking at people like that, I think that I just for me, I try to resonate with things that make me feel comfortable. So like when I see people that do certain things, as far as like people that be like, oh, they're a tree hugger or they're a free spirit or whatever, I would more so identify with them just because they seem like they're living a happy life. They don't really have a care in the world. They do what they want to do. They live in life to
Take
the
care of the
fullest.
earth.
They take care of the earth. They take care of themselves. And that's just something that I really want to obtain in life. Like, I feel like that is just for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I go more so that route. And it's because of how free they are. I feel like when I'm around those people, I never have to feel like I'm being judged.
Yeah,
Or
it's so positive and
yeah.
inspiring. You're right. I agree. And I think that we just kind of we just were raised to just be caught up.
Yeah. And it's like, how?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just feel like people, like, I don't know. Like, I get around certain people, they always try to make you feel like, oh, you just have to have it this way. It has to be this way, it has to be done this way, in this manner, by
It's
this
like, how you
age.
know?
You have to be this size. You have to wear this color clothing. You got to dress the same way. You have to look like you have this and da-da-da. And it's just like, I can't be all those type of people and then try to be creative at the end of the day, because now my mind is clouded. Like my whole life is built off of me being a creative. I'm a makeup artist, obviously. So obviously I'm always thinking about creating or colors, like even small things. Like sometimes I have dreams about like just color, like certain colors, and then
I
I
don't
wake
see
up.
color. I'm just playing.
I do.
I'm just playing.
I like sometimes I have dreams about like just certain colors, and then I'll wake up and I'm like, you know what if I did this on somebody's eyes and da 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 da. But
Yeah.
it'll come from like a dream. Like but sometimes like if I'm too focused on me having to be skinny and then look like I got money, I
Just
gotta
care so much about things
about stuff that doesn't matter for
Yeah.
real, for real. It just kind of clouds my vision, and it makes me not do things that I want to do. And it really makes me second guess myself a lot. It makes me feel like I need to do better, which I always have room to grow. I mean, that's anybody. We always got room to grow, but I always just feel like I have to do so much more just because of what other people's perception of what successful people look like, or the right person. Like you gotta be this person. You gotta be. It's just too much.
It's
Like
like,
I don't
for
know.
what? Yeah, I just want to live a happy life, and I want to be successful and comfortable.
Yeah.
I don't want to struggle no more.
No, not at all. Me and my new car, when it gets here, I ain't gonna struggle. I'm just
You foolish. I don't really have nothing I want to buy. But no, let me not get off topic. I agree. I think that I'm glad I have a partner that actually we never
I'm actually really happy that you have somebody like that, because I feel like just me knowing the people that you've dated in the past and just what type of person they are and what type of person you are, I feel like you needed that to kind of like balance you out. And then it's better to have somebody that is patient with you and that understands you a lot.
You know what's so funny? I hate when I realize that too, because I'd be so mad at him sometimes, and I'd be like, dang, you right. Be mad.
But I mean, realistically, like just looking at the people that you probably dated in the past, nobody is ever going.
They ain't even
like
touching the listen. They ain't seeing it, not even with everybody glasses on.
And I just got some new ones.
But I think that, and not just me, but I think that people will get in. Like, I know it's hard to find a good partner. That's a fact. But I do think that people need to have to realize what they want and who they are, because sometimes somebody who was a trash partner to me might be everything to somebody else, but it's because they just
Yeah.
were a good match. So it's just like
Yeah.
I had to find something or somebody that was aligned with what I was looking for. And it's the way we even ended up together was so unconventional. Like we were not even trying to be together. It was just like,
It just happened.
yeah, it just happened. I mean,
I can't wait till it happened to me, child. Because at this point, me trying to find somebody in this
find
climate, in
somebody
this
at church.
me trying to find somebody in this climate is just so weird. It's probably because I'm just weird about approaching people, and then I also feel like people think I'm halfway a fucking weirdo just because of the type of person I
Do you think that you've ever done something to block yourself from getting the person that you wanted? I know I have, and it'd be like
Yeah,
sometimes too
plenty of
late.
times. Like I'm definitely, I need to be like more open minded when it comes to well, not more open minded. I need to be more like adventurous. Like I need to be able to approach people, but that's easier said than done, especially when you're not a person that, because it's not that I don't take rejection well, because I do. I like, if somebody rejects me or I get rejected from a situation, I move on from it easily. I'll be a little mad at first, but I get over it.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Nobody likes to be rejected.
I think that what it is though is that I put too much I don't know. Like I have a lot of boundaries. Like I have a lot of things that I'm not okay with and things that I am okay with. And I just look at the climate of dating in Atlanta in my community, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm not gonna block it. I'm not gonna not try it just because I feel like that. But I'm telling you, I ain't got a lot of hope.
I just had to like just mature to find a good partner and to, because I feel like if I met my current boyfriend some years ago, if he was how he is now at that time, we would have walked right past each other.
What? So
Definitely.
you feel like y'all grew with each other over
I
time.
think that we just were in the right position at the right time when we met. Because
Okay.
even when he tells me about previous relationships and stuff, I'll just be like, "You what? What the?"
I don't know. I do feel like some of my exes, I'm like, maybe in later on in life, like I felt like we probably would have worked out just because we didn't really have a bad relationship.
Yeah.
I just was in a place where I feel like just how I don't want nobody that ain't shit or don't got nothing going on. I felt like my priorities was just not in order.
Yeah.
And I
And
feel like I'm a way better person. I'm more mature now.
absolutely. And your situation in life has a lot to do with your confidence. And if you're not confident, you're not even going to give your all into somebody else's life. It just creates way more issues. And we knew this at that time, but sometimes it's hard to understand that if you can't really relate to that.
Yeah.
Huh.
I know love.
Okay, here you go. Anyway, so let's wrap up this episode, y'all. Obviously, we ain't had no topic, but we made a topic. That's just what we do. That's just kind of people we is.
Hey.
We're gonna try something next week. Hopefully, it works.
Yeah, it's summertime. We can't really do nothing, even though outside is open. Let me stay my ass at home. Hey.
Yeah, me too. I went to the parking lot concert. It wasn't bad. I was around people, but we were on the trunk, like the pickup truck. We was in the back seat of it. We didn't really do. We just stayed in our little bubble, but
Yeah.
it still was a little weird. And I don't feel like I was exposed to anything because my friends that I went with, we talk every day, and I know they ain't been nowhere. But it still was a little iffy being around folks, and I won't be going anywhere else again for a while. So.
Yeah. I don't really have any. I do want to try to go to Six Flags.
Oh yeah, go ahead and catch that COVID on the roller coaster. It's gonna hit you when you go over the
They
little.
so they have this. I don't know if you probably don't care, but they have like a little a system now. So you have to make reservations to go. You can't just show up at the park. You have to make reservations. Once you pull up to Six Flags, they come up to your car. They check to make sure you have the reservation, and they do your parking at the front gate, and then you have to have a mask on the whole time, and then they give you specific ride time so that way you won't be in line close to people. You just be with the people that you came with.
I kind of like the little things that people doing. We might not have to wait in line for nothing no more.
I'm with it. So I booked the reservation. I might not go just because I know I got stuff to do this week, but
But yes, anyway, all right, let's wrap up this episode. I thought it was gonna be quick. As usual, it was not. So y'all have any episode subject? It's kind of tough to think about fun things to talk about in a climate like this, and I don't want to be deep every single episode because I do think sometimes we do need to decompress and relax and have some highlights. It's kind of tough in this climate, but if there's anything y'all want to hear us talk about, send it over to us. I meant to mention too when we talk about celebrities, it's been something to get adjusted to when people reach out to us, or at least me. I don't know about you. Online who telling me about the show and how they like the show. And it's just something to get used to because it's like, wow, me, let alone me. You like, wow.
I'll never get used to it. People's, man, it's all right.
You who?
Nothing.
Okay.
I'm gonna write about it in my journal.
Oh boy. Anyway, so now I do appreciate it. It's just sometimes that imposter syndrome. Like, girl, I ain't nobody. I just be talking.
Oh, you somebody, child.
I'm somebody. All right. Anyway, all right, y'all. Talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye.